This is a response to Spinnernet's video of the worst booking mistakes and decisions made by WWE. Except, I'm not gonna go with a top 10. I'm gonna just mention them and just quickly talk about why I thought that they were bad decisions. And some of them from Spinnernet I will repeat, but I'll give my takes as to why it was bad. The first one that comes to mind was at WrestleMania 10, and it was the fact that they booked and had that storyline that started at the Royal Rumble with a double main event with Yokozuna defending the title twice. The reason why I don't like this was because Bret Hart, yes, was over. He was the man in WWF, WWE at the time. And they were just trying to push Lex Luger way too much. And the fans weren't really into it. So I didn't see the reason why WrestleMania 10 had to waste the airtime with doing that Lex Luger Yokozuna first title match in the show, because the fans weren't into that match, in my opinion, and Lex Luger wasn't getting anywhere. So I think that WWE should have done what they did a few months later. They should have done it earlier and maybe team them up to face team the British Bulldog and Lex Luger up to face the tag team champions at that time at WrestleMania 10 in the spot where Luger's match was, because what they did for that match didn't get over at all, didn't make any sense, and really didn't go anywhere after WrestleMania 10. So that's one of the first ones that comes to mind. The second one that comes to mind is actually from another WrestleMania, and it's WrestleMania 11. And WrestleMania 11 took place in my home state of Connecticut, in Hartford, and I was too young at the time, and I didn't go to this WrestleMania, but I've watched it, and the biggest thing that I don't get from that WrestleMania was why they didn't start and complete that Undertaker's urn getting stolen storyline at WrestleMania. They should have completed that at WrestleMania and not waited until a casket match at an In Your House with Mabel, King Mabel, to complete it. They should have had it, they should have run it a little faster and not had it be King Kong Bundy versus uh, The Undertaker at WrestleMania. What they should have done was, instead of making it a whole coup between the Million Dollar Corporation and then King Mabel after he after he won the King of the Ring and all that stuff, what they should have done was just made it be King Mabel from the beginning and ended that storyline at WrestleMania 11. I say that because I think the way that storyline ended and how Undertaker got the urn back, in my opinion, being a wrestling fan and being a young kid back in those days and watching the tapes back and everything else, that ending was so anticlimactic, and I think it would have made that WrestleMania better if they finished that storyline up there. Another booking decision from WrestleMania 11 that I know started at the Royal Rumble that year but made no sense to me was the Intercontinental title match between Double J and Razor Ramon, Double J defending. The way that whole match worked out just didn't ever sit right with me. But I can't really put my finger on why, but I'm just telling you it didn't sit well. Another problem I have with WWE booking in the past was the way that they did the invasion storyline, like a lot of people say, because I think they should have had maybe a few more preeminent WCW guys in that angle, number one. Number two, I think that they should have talked with Eric Bischoff and earlier and really worked with him on trying to get him in the angle, because it would have been really cool if instead of Stephanie having ownership of ECW and Shane owning WCW, it would have been cool if it was actually Vince versus Bischoff versus Heyman. Because then it would have seemed more real. I liked some of the things in that angle. A lot of people say things in that angle didn't make sense. There was some things to me that didn't make sense. Most of it did. I liked the beginning of the angle and the end of the angle. The middle of the angle was, in my opinion, all clusterfucky, where they had, this guy leaving WCW going to WWF, where they had WWF guys going to WCW. I understood Steve Austin's move. That was a move I understood, but there was a lot of them, a lot of the other ones I didn't understand. Another thing that I didn't understand and was, excuse me for that, was the reason why they had Hulk Hogan win the title after WrestleMania 18. I know everybody was supposedly caught up in this rebirth of Hulkamania, but I think that was a mistake. I would never have done that if I was them, and it just drove me mad because I'm not a Triple H fan and I'm not a Hulkamaniac, but that title, the undisputed title, just played hot potato, and I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. Um, and basically, the last thing that WWE did that really bothered me was when they did that whole McMahon supposedly dying in a car accident and an explosion. Because you knew it wasn't real, and they covered it like it was on their websites, and it didn't feel right, especially, what had happened with everything else, and, that was going on at the time, and whatnot. But that was just a big no-no in my opinion, and I would never have done it. And really quickly, my favorite Christmas movie of all time is probably the Santa Claus series with Tim Allen. But I just want to say that, and I will catch you all next time.